At this point, it has been about 3 months since I've been using this keyboard right here. This is the EvofFox Fireblade gaming keyboard. One of the cheapest keyboards out there, and you can get this right now for I think under 800 rupees. So 3 months ago, when I was looking for just a temporary alternative to my current keyboard, which was a Logitech membrane keyboard, so after it died, I got this as a replacement and I've been using it ever since. So the first video that I made was about 1 week later, so it was a review after using it for 7 days. And many of you liked it and had further questions about this, so I thought I'll share my experiences after using this every day for the past 3 months. To give you an understanding, I've been using this for an average of 4 hours a day or 7 days a week, so whether it's weekends, weekdays, and I've primarily been typing on this a lot because here's a fact that many people may not know. Even on a gaming keyboard you can do a lot of typing, not just gaming. So I just played CSGO for a while and just to test the gaming performance of the low latency keys, and then I just forgot about it. I've just been using this as a normal keyboard with RGB backlight, primarily for typing a lot, just doing my everyday tasks. And I have to say that I still stand by what I said in my original review video. The typing experience on this is great. For the price, there is nothing short of exceptional in my opinion. Like, I do wish that the keys were a little bit heavier. Like I mentioned in the earlier video, the keys feel a little bit hollow and kind of easy to press. That's not really the case with my older keyboard, even though it was a membrane keyboard, which is not really, which doesn't really feel as good as this keyboard does. But the keys were heavier and it felt a bit better, like it felt more secure to type on that. Whereas this thing feels a little bit hollow and the keys feel too easy to press. Like, even when I'm moving this around, accidentally it bumps into my laptop screen or something and a bunch of keys get pressed very easily. I know it's not a big issue, like once you keep a keyboard down, you rarely pick it up to move somewhere else. But I'm always shifting things around in my room for cleaning or whatever, so that's something I noticed. Let's talk about the main thing which people are concerned with when it comes to budget keyboards, the paint on the keys. I have seen some other keyboards from some other brands like Red Gear or something, which basically the keys paint wears off after a while, and it's very natural. Your hands are usually sometimes oily, sometimes sweaty, so when you're typing on this a lot, there's a chance that these keys get worn out and basically the key would just be a blank slate there. That hasn't really happened yet. So even though, as I said, I have been typing on this a lot, I have primarily been using the alphanumeric keys and a bunch of arrow keys as well. The paint seems fine, and I'm actually very impressed. The paint, even though it's not applied very well, it does stick around, and even though I have had greasy fingers once in a while, that hasn't affected the paint and it hasn't rubbed off. So you won't have to worry about it for at least for a year or so. Yes, it has backlight, but I think I forgot to mention in my previous video that other than this breathing mode and the static mode, you can also control the speed of the breathing mode. Like, if you press function minus, the breathing mode gets slower, so LED starts pulsating much slower, and if you press function plus, they get faster. But you still can't individually change the sections. Like, if I want this section to be blue and this to be green, I can't really do that. There is no software for this by which you can control an LED. I've mentioned that it would have been nice to have an RGB controlled software, because even cheap mice like this, the Quantum Snipe 1.0 mouse, this has a very dedicated and detailed control software by which you can customize a lot of things. So this doesn't have anything like that, so you can't remap any of the keys. So for example, if you want this control key to be a shortcut to something, you can't do that. So you're basically stuck with whatever you have. That's not usually the sign of a gaming keyboard, isn't it? You are usually allowed to customize a lot of things, because if you have a bunch of shortcuts mapped out, in competitive gaming, it can be of great help. One more thing that I kind of wish was included is replaceable keycaps. Most mechanical keyboards have a replaceable keycap, so you can just change the keys and replace them with something else. So if you wanted the black background but wanted some blue key switches, for example, you can purchase blue key switches and replace them with these. But that's not the case here. These switches are, yeah, for the most part, I don't think they're replaceable at all, because I have seen replaceable switches keyboards and they don't take this much force to pull out a keycap. And this didn't come with any kind of a tool to remove keycaps. So yeah, it doesn't have removable keycaps. I guess that's okay for a budget keyboard, but still something to take note of. One thing that kind of surprised me over the time is even though this chassis is entirely made of plastic, see, that's just plastic, but the keyboard is surprisingly heavy. Like if I lift this with just one side, my finger actually feels fatigue because it's quite heavy. How heavy is this? There, I'm back with my industrial grade weighing machine that I stole from the kitchen. Okay, let's see how heavy this thing is. Huh, close to 500 grams. That's quite a significant weight, I guess, for a keyboard entirely made of plastic. Should we open this up? Yeah, let's do it. Magnetic screwdrivers, they save lives. I just hope that when I remove all these screws, these keys don't just fall on the table and I have to arrange them once again. What the hell? Is there a screw under? Oh. Why you do this, Amkette? Okay, there we go. Oh, okay. I kind of see where the weight was majorly coming from. There's a giant sheet of metal here, as I expected. Yeah, before I break my keyboard though, can you please subscribe? Thanks. Oh, for f***'s sake. This is a sticker. You know what that means? There is a screw somewhere under here. Oh, come on, Amkette. Why you do this? It's a damn keyboard. Why do you want me to not open my keyboard once in a while? Oh, there it is. And here's the giant metal plate which is here for no reason other than just giving it weight. That's the tiny PCB that we saw. And yeah, this metal is the majority of the weight, I think. So if I remove this plate, yep, it's almost halfway lighter. So it's, I think, around 200 grams now. Let's weigh it.
A few moments later.
Finally. Okay. Oh. So yeah, as I expected, the keyboard without this metal sheet is just around 200 grams. So this sheet of metal is on its own nearly 100 grams on its own. So these two combined is the majority of the weight. See that? 200 grams here. So I guess if you want to make your keyboard lighter, you can just remove this thing and simply screw in the back plate like that to make your keyboard lighter. This giant blue one is for the space bar, and these are the rest of the keys. You can see it's not exactly mechanical, it's more of a scissor switch style. So mechanical will have a spring based system to push the keys back. That's why the keycaps can be replaced with something else, but here it's still using a membrane. So you can see it kind of gives a mechanical feel. I mean, it's not a single sheet of membrane covering all of them, but it's still not all the way mechanical. So it's kind of a mechanical feel keyboard. And see, the key switches are exactly the same as what you would get in a typical membrane keyboard. So it's a hybrid between the two. So you have to eject the key switch from here itself. You can't replace it easily with the help of a repair tool or kind of a removal tool. Look at this. You know why that LED is not so uniform all the places? This sheet basically has one row of LEDs on top. That's it. There is no LED underneath each button. That's why it has a few dark spots in these corners. The right arrow key comes here and the control key comes here. That's why there are these dark spots underneath these LEDs, because that's it. One row of 7 LEDs. Wow. And these LEDs are all fixed colors, so there is absolutely no way you can change the colors with the help of a software or something. That's why there is no RGB kit with this thing which you can install on your computer. A teardown of a product reveals a lot of things about it that a common spec sheet doesn't. So yeah, now we know. Okay, I think it's like this. Is it? Always start screwing from the sides. That's also what she said. I think that's a success. Actually kind of a really smart design. You see, there's just a red LED over here and there's a blue LED here. That's it. There's nothing in between. But since those lights are intersecting one another, here kind of you get a crimson color and here you get purple because that's the intersection of red and blue. That's a really cool idea actually, and yeah, it doesn't look very good, but hey, some backlight is better than no backlight, right? Even though I think they could have put 2 rows of LEDs on the top and on the bottom to improve the brightness, I think they had to do this to keep the price very low, so I'm okay with it. Okay, well, there you have it. That was kind of an inside look of this keyboard and my brief experiences of using it in 3 months. In a nutshell, you won't have to worry about the structural integrity of this thing. So as you saw, it has a metal sheet to reinforce this, so it will be pretty strong. And the keys, even though they are not replaceable, they won't wear out in paint, so they will last a good amount of time. At least for the budget that you've spent, you're getting your full money's worth. So yeah, I think I'll continue using this keyboard because there is nothing wrong with it other than a few things like the mediocre paint which I mentioned in my earlier review, which is fine. When you're using this keyboard, you're not looking at the keyboard, right? You're looking at the screen. So as long as it works fine functionally, it's okay for me. Yeah, if you have any further questions, drop them in the comments down below, and I think I'll leave you to it. Cheers.